Tennessee wants to do something, Adam, that we are looking at is one of those things where we say, hey, look, we knew that when all of these laws were getting passed on it, that we were going to get amendments. We were going to get people introducing new things. We were going to get adjustments and tweaks and things like that. So Tennessee looking to make a little bit of an adjustment and a tweak as well.
I wish I could explain the thinking that has gone into Tennessee sports betting law and regulation from the very start, because it's one of those situations where there is this round item called a wheel that most other states seem perfectly content to put different hubcaps on the wheel, maybe different tread on the tires. And Tennessee is over here trying to take a square and make it roll down the road. And it doesn't really happen that way. So what we've seen is that Tennessee, of course, has the only mandatory minimum hold in all of the country at a mandatory minimum 10%. Now, operators aren't necessarily playing along with that. They were given options to try to make what were called true-up payments to get to compliance with Tennessee law, or be told that they might have black marks on their regulatory record when they go to try to apply in other states. That's its own issue. So now Tennessee is trying to change not only that part of its situation, they're trying to now tax handle instead of revenue. Look, I know we don't all have long memories with this stuff, but we did this already, everyone. We already went through these wars. This is 2017, 2018, when we were first discussing the idea of how do you tax sports betting revenue. And it's been proven repeatedly that taxing handle is not the way to do this. Now, I understand that there have been flaws in the way that revenue has been taxed that has not led to states realizing what they wanted to. That has a lot to do with promotional deductions and not taxing free bets, and states are going back and looking at how that's done. But there is a bill working its way through the Tennessee legislature right now that would tax handle at 1.86%. That is absolutely insane when you figure out what that would equate to in terms of a revenue tax. You're talking about pushing 40-odd% when you do an equivalency on that. And don't take me to court on the math there. That's just the quick math that we do in our heads on these things when we talk about the fact that, we were looking at taxing 1% of sports betting handle in the beginning of this, and, equating that out to like 25% revenue tax. So in the end, this is an absolutely nuts idea. Every state has taxed revenue, and it has worked for every state in some way, shape, or form that is being tweaked as we go. But the idea of taxing handle long ago was proven to be a non-starter for most sports betting companies, that they would not be able to operate and make any sort of a profit in those states.
Dustin, one of the things that we talk about a lot of times about the difference between the gray market and then the black market and then the regulated market is like, listen, we're saying people that jump up and down and beat the table. Why can't I get the same price for this? And why do this better than this? Whatever. We're like, well, listen, there are costs involved with being regulated that a black market, gray market person doesn't necessarily always have. Of course, we have licensure. We also have the taxes within the state. We have the marketing expense. We have all of that. One of the things we don't bring up all the time is the fact that there's also a cut being taken by the federal government for Nevadans anyway. And we take a look at this, and, it's not like in the grand scheme of things, this massive, super huge amount of money, but I mean, 20 million is 20 million. And so we do wonder where that money is even going and what it's being used for.
Yeah, and whether this has any chance or not, we'll see. But again, we have representatives in Congress trying to offer up a bill to get rid of the federal excise tax that oversees gambling, and it's a 0.25% tax again on handle, which is nuts. But this is a lot of money. This is 500 million we estimate has been LSR estimates has been paid since the end of PASPA, and that's a lot of money. I mean, not a lot of money in the federal government's standpoint, but this is a lot of money that operators that are operating legally in the United States are paying to the federal government. Representative Dina Titus in Nevada has been the champion of this. Representative of Pennsylvania as well behind this. Again, getting anything through Congress is fraught with peril. But this one's one, whether it should be gone or not, like they don't even know where this money goes, which is the bigger problem to me. It just goes, I guess, into the
Right.
into the big pile of money. It would be great if this money did something for the gambling industry. If we're going to tax the gambling industry, do something about that. Responsible gambling, put it towards that. Do it towards cracking down on illegal bookmaking. I don't know. Do something with it instead of just like we're just doing this tax for no apparent reason. And it was done in an era where not a lot of money comes in, and it wasn't really affecting. It was only affecting Nevada sports books, but at the time. But yeah, let's either get rid of it, or probably even better is do something with that money that is valuable to, again, problem gambling would be a great use for that. I don't know exactly how that would work, but it would be great to see this money go somewhere other than just into the giant pile of money and get lost in the giant pile of money our country collects every year in taxes.
So, Adam, I would love to say best case scenario that they actually find a use case for this money and that we would feel good about what they were going to use the money for. So that'd be great. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we know how all things work. I would rather just get wiped off the board here, because I have no trust in the fact that they're actually going to take this money and do something positive with it and do something that we would think would be good use for all of this money. So I think the easier path here would just be to eliminate it. And then down the line, maybe we can figure out some sort of way to, make sure that each gambling company is putting X amount of money towards, like, some sort of mandate, to put some sort of money towards responsible gaming, whatever, down the line. But I think our easiest path here is just to get rid of it. And again, it's just the money's just evaporating. We don't even know where the money's going. This is absurd.
The next time that anyone accuses either of you of being bleeding heart liberals, just point them right to this podcast and the fact that we're saying we don't trust you with our money, and we're going to tell these companies to regulate themselves. So I ultimately feel like what we're doing with this bill is something that has to be done with these fairly obscure issues, which is just banging the drum over and over and over again until you can get someone to pay attention to the issue. And whatever comes of the issue, whatever comes of the solution, will be better than the current situation, which is money being taxed, thrown into a general fund, and essentially being lost. And, we just kind of shrug as to what's going on. Now, if that tax were to continue and it were to be directed to responsible gambling, that would be great. If it would be just directed toward a national helpline, if it would be directed toward some sort of grant funding that states could apply for, all of those things would be a lot better than what we're dealing with right now. However, if it's going to be there and it's going to be just thrown away, then yeah, and then I can understand why I would say just eliminate it if you're going to be taxing someone with no apparent purpose.